hard to tackle. The Bears are a second half team. They've been a second half team this year. In every game they've been in, they have taken the lead in the second half, and that's how they win their games coming in the second half. So can that hold up in this game with the Vikings? I'd say, yeah. I think the Chicago Bears are for real, man. I think the defense and put together what Trubisky's doing and the offense is doing, I think they are for real. So I'm going Bears.
Yeah, I got to go Bears here, too. This is another weird game for me. It's Sunday night, obviously, but both teams recently have cruised past their wins with the Jets and Detroit. This is going to be a battle in Chicago. So I'm undecided, but I have to go with Mac and the home team with Chicago.
All right, so before we head out of here, we are going to come back. We'll get to some of these other games. We got some good games this week. In terms of some interesting games, I won't say necessarily all good, but some interesting games and some of the implications that come from them. So you are listening to the Neutral Zone on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 and 100.7 KSLX HD Channel 2. Why don't you follow some of us on Twitter? Follow Ed at Ed Smith Speaks. Follow me at Javon Love, JAVONLUV. Follow Casual Sports at KAZUALSPORTZ. And if you feel like it, why don't you give us a call, 602-260-1060. We might pick up. Aaron might pick up and say what's good to you. But we're going to come back. You are listening to the Neutral Zone. You can.
Print out. Gonna rock your road. You're not on that camera. You want to be on that camera? Give me a second. There you go. Say what's up, bro. Say what's up. Now you're on.
Hey, what's up?
So we're no longer doing the Facebook Live.
This is it.
Oh, it is?
Say what's up,
Oh, I need
Facebook.
to share. How do I get that to share to the page?
I just added you. So if you go on, invited you, should be in your notifications.
Okay.
So the first time it wouldn't connect at all, and then it dropped. So I had a 30-second video that dropped. So we should be hopefully strong now.
Did you on my hotspot though, right?
I think the hotspot, the connection must have just got jacked up.
We should be good now, right?
Hopefully. I'll let you know, but this is, we're trial by fire with this thing, so. Let's see.
You all distracted, Bill.
Me? Can you tell? Did it come out that way via sound?
Nah, you can't do it.
Oh, so there we go. That's why I wrote down good notes in the first, because I was like, man, I'm going to be multitasking pretty hard.
Buffering like crazy, though.
Is it? So we're going to need something better than for internet. Yeah, because it just said it failed.
Like Zoom speed stuff.
It just said it failed. Again.
Yeah, it's buffering like crazy. Maybe there's too many people on the network.
I got 3 things. One shot.
It just added.
Just take one of them off. And then whoever needs it, we just give it to them to just switch the camera.
No, that's not. Hold on. Yeah. What?
It's a process, man.
We can.
For top dollar, buy a personal home or entire portfolio of investment properties. GE helps investors by providing full-service property management, completing renovations, rehabs, and flipping houses through affiliated partners.
Rockets
It's
are
time
taking
your
it to
investing
the
game.
Warriors,
Find success on the real estate
94-65.
gridiron with Interest Realty and
The
Kirsten
Rockets
Schaefer's AZ
beat up on
Property
the
Expert.
Warriors,
Visit us today at
94-65 in the fourth
azpropertyexpert.com. Call us
quarter.
at 480-788-2761.
So they got them all back.
No hassle, no obligation.
All right, here's our best bet. We're just going to use it to record everything and upload it
Or
later.
visit our website at azpropertyexperts.com.
We're missing out on
Tune in
minutes now. I
Sundays at
mean, you want to do it
7:30
late
a.m.
and
for
have
the
a 30.
Sports Watchdog Radio Show, hosted by
You
Mason
want to do
Kerr.
live,
who
or
sniffs
do you
out
want to
what's
upload
trending
late?
in
Right now, this will
professional
record
college
everything.
sports.
It's record
Right
what
here
we're
on
doing right
NBC
now.
Sports
And I
Radio,
can
AM
upload the file.
1060.
Okay, well, you do whatever you do, man. I have the slightest clue.
It is the Neutral Zone. I am Jay, along with Ed Smith, with Casual E and Sean McConnell. We do this every Thursday from 8 to 9. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We have a good time. We laugh a lot.
Speaking
And-
of a good time, I have to let you know,
Uh-huh.
I went home last week in light of last week's show.
Yeah.
hooked up on YouTube and got to putting down that what was it, Street Fighter?
Oh, here we go again.
And I saw what you was. I was like, man, I started cracking up.
Yes, indeed.
This dude's like,
There you go.
Oh,
See, I don't
man.
lie. It's all truth. It's all truth. It's all facts around here. So this segment is brought to you by Majestic Services. Go to majesticservices.net for all your pressure washing and window cleaning needs. So majesticservices.net, commercial or residential. And let's get into the game that is near and dear to our hearts and for different ways. Oakland at Arizona. I am an Oakland fan. I think I might even be at that game. So yeah, it should be interesting. But Oakland and Arizona, this is an interesting game if for no other reason that if Oakland doesn't protect Carr, they might have to drag him out on a stretcher. And the pressure that's on the coaching staff to beat a team that is definitely a wounded animal is interesting to me. So let's start with who you got on this one. What you got, Sean?
This is really tough because I'm really pessimistic about my team this year. But it's hard to even think that Oakland can win anything this year.
This is true.
So I have to go with Arizona. Oakland's craving the number one pick so hard that they're going to do whatever it takes to get it. Players are feeling lucky to no longer play for Oakland. Did you hear that? Switzer said that? Switzer?
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Said players are feeling lucky to no longer play for Oakland.
wow.
Not dying to play for, as we heard a couple weeks ago.
Right.
The Oakland O-line is somehow worse than Arizona's. Chandler Jones and Marcus Golden are going to look to pad their stats, and David Johnson's licking his chops, especially with more touches on offense.
Wow. Yeah, if there's ever been a game that, how do you lose this one if you're the Cardinals?
That's why the pressure is immense on them to come through and get this victory.
But at the same time, it's like man it or defense. It's like the Raiders are saying, you know, ole, ole, and letting people into Carr.
True
I mean,
indeed.
it's crazy. So Chandler should have a big day in that game. But we're not tanking, and you know, so both of these teams are going to be in the top 5 picks in the draft next year. So projections, the Cardinals will be 4th probably, and the Raiders are probably number 1. But this game, I can see us losing this game. The Cards' offense has gotten a little bit better under Leftwich. The last 2 games we've averaged 290.5 total yards. In the last 7 games we only averaged 220, so it's gotten a little bit better. We just need to protect Rosen. The O-line I don't know what happened to the O-line in that game. I don't know what happened. The start of it looked totally different than the end of it. It was really bad.
Right.
And then, of course, those keys that we started with early in the year, talking about the injuries, are starting to come back to us. You know, the O-line.
Yep.
Justin Pugh was brought here. Looking at him, can he stay healthy? Smith, can he stay healthy? All these Yapati, can he stay? All these guys that are on our O-line with questions have not stayed healthy, and so it's been a up and down battle with the O-line. And Josh is just running for his life. He's getting beat up in the pocket. So they got to come up with something else to, you know, some more screens, some more things to get him that ball out faster. You know, because you can tell he's in the pocket now, kind of worried about the rush a little bit, and he's rushing his throws, overthrowing. Interception to Houston, very low. All he had to do was kind of step back a few more steps and toss it up higher.
Right.
But he sees that rush coming, so he's getting rid of it. So hopefully we can get some type of O-line to get some relief on him getting hits, because he don't need to be taking that many hits.
I was actually encouraged by the game.
Yeah, for
Kansas
sure.
City.
I agree with you on
Because
that.
we were all, you know, I know I wasn't here last week, but I was
You know, I was clowning on Saturday when I was on your show. I was
Exactly.
clowning.
So for me, you know, this is, if you can't beat the Raiders, I'm sorry, Jay, I'm gonna say this. If you can't beat the Raiders now, what does that say about the Cardinals? And this is wounded duck syndrome right here.
Exactly.
And Sean, you said something really interesting a second ago about pessimism. In my notes, I put here, this is a game of optimism versus pessimism. Meaning Cardinals, their direction, they're not there, but you're looking, you're thinking, there might be a future here. We see we're
Exactly.
trending, we're not heading straight up or at least elevating. Then you look at the pessimistic side, that the Raiders are at the bottom, but trying to dig a hole to go even deeper.
True.
You know, it's one of those things. So when we always say, you know, it could always be worse. We're here with the Cards, and we're thinking, man, we're going through it right now, but it could always be worse. It could be the Raiders.
Right.
So
It's true.
Exactly.
with that being said, you know, Oakland might come in here and make Rosen and the Cardinals look like the 94 49ers. I mean, they've already done it. I put in here, they've been boosting confidence of other teams around the league all year. So why not come in here and help us out a little bit, give us a little good feeling? And I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to come in here, they're going to lay down like a dog, we're going to roll over them, and we're going to feel good for a week until we move on to the next. So Cardinals, I hope it's a good victory for them, because this is, sorry Jay, this is one that they could really use
Yeah, they
right
could
now.
really use it.
So last week around this time, we were talking about one of the biggest things that, and Daryl pointed this out, was that the most points that the Cardinals have scored, 28, and conversely, at that point, their opponent was Kansas City, and so the most points that they had given up, they scored was 28. So do you anticipate the Cardinals having a breakout game offensively and being able to score more than 28 points? Let's start with you.
Yeah, that's what I have down here. I think they are going to score more than 28 points in this game. It's pretty much given to them. I mean, hand the ball off to David. He's going to break that. He's going to make the passing game so much easier. It's just going to be, the way the Raiders are covering right now, really. But one thing about the Cardinals' offense, like Ed has said, they have, they looked a little bit better. And like you said, it was like I'm like, are they really better? They're not better, but you see something. It was progress. Remember we were talking last week about show me something?
Yeah.
Progress. It was a little bit more progress in what that offense. It looked like an NFL offense. But then the numbers don't say it though.
Right,
The
'cause
Cardinals
outside
are
of
32nd.
Yeah.
They're 32nd in passing, 32nd in rushing, and 32nd in total defense. Offense.
Yeah.
How could they look like the way they looked in that game and still be 32nd?
Now, one of the things, Sean, that outside of the two big drives, the two scoring drives, the offense was kind of non-existent. So,
Yeah.
Right.
what are you hoping to see offensively from the Cardinals from this game?
David Johnson still technically did not have 100 yards rushing. He had 98. I want to see 100 yards rushing. I want to see that. Offensively, I need to see a little better decision making, a little more accuracy from Josh Rosen. He sailed some. Obviously, he's getting rushed. He's young. This stuff's going to come with experience and time. I want to see more precision. I want to see some more refined drives, not so many forced drives or panic drives or miscommunications. There wasn't a grand amount last week, which is great going up against Kansas City's defense, which really doesn't have to do much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see it a little bit more in a challenge game.
Yeah, like I told you last week, that Kansas City defense, all they do is rush the passer. That's what they did last week. But back on David, you said he had 98 yards rushing. I guarantee you he would have had 100 yards more, 100 in that game, had he not been so quick to go down when he gets hit now. Have you noticed he's doing that a lot? He's going through the hole with his head down, gets touched, and falls right on the ground. I'm like, wait a minute. What the heck is wrong? Is he still trying to protect himself from an injury or something? He's not running hard.
No.
Look, David's not running hard like David can run. I'm telling you right now. Look at the tape. He is running passive right now. He's running like he doesn't want to get hurt. If he was running hard, he would truck somebody. He would have 100 yards.
Well,
in
he's
that game.
being told by his running back coach to start
I heard
trucking
about
people
that.
more.
Oh, is that right?
And so hopefully, even more so in the tape,
Yeah,
he's going to
he
have
needs
more
to.
instances of
He
getting
doesn't
that
look
pointed
the
out.
same to me, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just my eyes or something, but I know when I'm watching on tape, I'm like, he could have had another few yards on that play. Why did he just go down? Somebody just barely touched it. He just rolled over and fall down. I'm like, okay. But that's just my eyes. Like, everybody has their opinion, but I know what I'm looking at. I know what I'm seeing.
From a defensive point of view, Ed, when you're looking at what the Cardinals with Steve Wilkes, obviously his pedigree is on the defensive side of the ball. Do you want to see 10 points? Do you want to see 7 points? What do you want to see in terms of sacks, pressures? What would you want to see that makes you say, okay, that's the way you're supposed to handle a team that is not as good as you, even though you're both almost in the same almost same zip code, but you're definitely better than them.
I think from the very beginning of the season, we've talked about this right out of the gate. I want to see aggression. I want to see guys flying around like the old expression, like their hair's on fire.
Right.
Thus far this season, we haven't seen that, that spirit from the defense, meaning they're flying around, they're hitting guys, they're excited, and part of that is because we've lost a lot of guys from that nucleus.
Right.
You look and see what Calais Campbell and some of the other guys are doing who've left here. Those were the heart of this defense, and now they're kind of revamped. Like I said, what I want to see these dudes getting after it, man. And this is the perfect game to get
get
after
straight,
it.
exactly.
This is what you call that get right game.
Get right.
This is what's supposed to happen. So it's not going to happen now. You know, we got a
I
lot
can't
of
get right.
But
It
jumping
doesn't get right.
on that bandwagon, some people on our defense can't get right because some superstars on our defense are making continued mistakes. We're talking Patrick Peterson and Buda Baker missing coverages, and I know it's all because they're trying to learn this new defense, but we're in week, 10 now? And we shouldn't be having blown coverages. And so, another guy, DJ Humphries, where is the number 1 pick on our offensive line? Where is he?
Yeah.
Too many superstars are making so many mistakes. He need to get off. He need to get off that Red Rage show because he's talking too much. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And then he go out there. Don't think people ain't listening to that show.
Yeah.
You get up there and do a lot of talking. You just inspired the other team to come kick your ass. So,
Ooh,
and that's what happens in
Casual E.
games.
Hot
That's what
takes.
happens.
He been on one for the last
Hot
3
takes.
weeks. Casual E been on one. So you listen to the Neutral Zone on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 and 100.7 KSLX HD Channel 2. We're gonna come right back and we're gonna get into some more games, man. I love this with Casual E is being upset. Boy, what you know about it? What you know about it? It's Casual E and Smith and Sean McConnell and Jay Neutral Zone. Are you kidding?
I hate that damn show, man. You get up there and be like, yeah, we gonna do this and we gonna blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, be quiet, man. That dude finna eat you up out there. And it happens every time. You go out there, bull rush. I'm like, what the?
I'm not to keep my eye on what you're talking about with David Johnson.
Oh,
I've
man,
been
I'm
watching.
telling you, I had to keep starting it back. been a catch.
I thought it was myself.
It is the Neutral Zone. I am Jay, along with Earl Burnett, Sean McConnell, and Ed Smith. We do this every Thursday from 8 to 9 p.m. We talk about sports. In particular, we're talking about this week in the NFL. So let's get right back to it. But before we do that, this segment is brought to you by MPX, a neighborhood joint, home of the 195-inch TV. Go to npx.life. And then you can also follow us on Facebook at Neutral Zone Show. Again, Neutral Zone Show. So let's jump into it. Pittsburgh at Jacksonville. Connor is probable, the running back, but he went out of last week's game with a possible concussion. Offense for Pittsburgh, the 36 points a game the last 3 weeks. The defense has allowed 5.44 yards per drive, which is third in the NFL. And then when you flip it over to Jacksonville, Bortles had 320 yards last week, but 0 turnovers. The defense has given up 395 and 366 total yards the last 2 weeks, respectively. So what are your thoughts on this? Let's start with you, Ed.
Pittsburgh offense is rolling, moving forward without Le'Veon Bell. Obviously, we were just talking about the Ravens locker.
Yeah.
Poor Le'Veon. They won 5 straight, demolished the Panthers last week on Thursday. Impressive. Jacksonville after a 3-1 start now. And that's including a 9-6 victory against Tennessee. They've now lost 5 straight, and 2 words: bad Bortles.
We missed that last week. I think
I'm
Ed
going with Steelers.
was missing that.
That's all you need to know from me. Bad Bortles, Steelers win.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Steelers as well. That offense is starting to click, and you're at the time of the season where you've got the guys you got, and you got to go with what you have, and it's working for them. In Jacksonville, you've got the guys you've got, and you got to make it do with what you got. And Blake Bortles is what you have, and every time I think Jacksonville's going to come around, they never do. So, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the Steelers are in playoff mode right now. They are playing really good right now, and it's going to be important to have Connor come back, hopefully. But if he does, of course, you know that this game would get ugly because the Jags. The last meeting, 45-42, though, the last time they played each other. But it won't be any type of game like that at all this time. Good corners, though, for the Jags, Ramsey and Boye. Can they hold up against AB and Schuster? Can they hold up? That's going to be the question in this game. But the Jags deep up front, like I said last week, has not been getting pressure. So for Jalen and those guys to hold up, they have to cover longer, and when you cover long, you cover wrong. The guy's going to get open. AB's going to get open. Schuster's going to get open, and Ben's going to have a field day on those guys. And so it's going to be Pittsburgh going to stump them in this one.
So let's get to the game that is underway right now, the Thursday night game, Green Bay at Seattle. Right now it's currently 21-17 in the third quarter. Packers up 21-17, 2:53 left in the third quarter. But one of the things that I wrote down in terms of Green Bay lost 2 of their last 3. Rodgers, 253 yards or less the last 3 weeks passing, but he was already killing fools this game already. When you look at one of the things I said for Seattle, can Seattle keep the ball away from Rodgers? That would be a no. Defense has given up 456 yards against the Rams last week, so they're definitely susceptible to the big play. So your thoughts on this, Ed?
2 kind of good teams. They're not what you call great. They're both struggling to stay in this playoff race.
Right.
Green Bay, I was surprised, 0-4 on the road this year. I wasn't paying attention. All of a sudden, I looked up, and the little stat watching. 0-4 on the road.
You better come on in.
Yeah, come on in.
And just to make it quick, this game is kind of going according to what I thought it would. I actually picked Seattle in this game, so I'm stuck with it now. But I figured Seattle would kind of ball control, try to keep the time possession in their favor. It looks like it's going that way. It's hard to keep that bad man Rodgers down. So we'll see how it all tracks out. But I picked Seattle in this game.
Oh, you did? Okay, well, I took Green Bay in this game. Always a good game between these 2 teams anytime they get together. Some type of controversy is bound to happen in this game. But both of these teams, you said they're good teams. I say
Kinda good.
I say kind of good. I say these 2 teams are 2 desperate teams.
Okay.
They desperately need to win this game.
Last call in the ball.
Yeah, this is
Who
it.
we gonna take on?
Especially, I'm hoping it's not Seattle that gets the win because remember I projected them losing those 4 straight. They should be 4
I
and 6
do.
by the time next week is over with. So hopefully that's for them. But these two quarterbacks faced each other. They're 3 and 3 against each other. This is the tiebreaker. So I like Rodgers because he does not turn the ball over. So.
Yeah, I had to go with Green Bay with this one. It's the epic Thursday Night Football rematch with less drama, most likely. Both teams are way different than they were with that whole catch, not a catch, interception, not an interception, whatever you want to call that. I hope the Rodgers can take advantage of Seattle that has lost 2 straight. Keep that in mind. Seattle's hungry. They need to stay alive somehow. And both teams have mediocre scores and are kind of mediocre teams with the exception of Rodgers. I mean, everyone else, the whole team, the collective is kind of mediocre. And this game is turning into something. And it's definitely getting probably more Thursday night buzz than most of the games. But I definitely think Green Bay is going to come away with this one. And I also hope that they do.
I think when you talk about that, one of the things you mentioned Rodgers, but I think Russell Simmons.
Hey!
God bless and good night. Russell Wilson. He should be given the way that he's performed this year. He should be given a lot of credit for being. I think if not being an elite quarterback, but being a step away or a couple of steps away from being that elite quarterback. Let's get into Cincinnati at Baltimore. You let a team put up 50 on you. I guess they're gonna show you the door. So they fired their defensive coordinator after last week's loss. They did in Cincinnati. Defense gave up 509 total yards last week. When you go to Baltimore, have they tapped out? They've lost 3 in a row. Your thoughts on this? Let's go with you, Sean.
Yeah, I gotta say Baltimore here. This has the potential to be another classic Cincinnati missed opportunity. New Orleans destroyed them 51-14, right? So Baltimore hasn't won in a month. On the flip side,
Yeah.
Baltimore needs a win bad. They're looking to take advantage of a Cincinnati defense that's near dead last in points with 32 yards at 454.6. Did I read that right? Yes, I did. Passing yards and rushing yards, they're almost dead last in the league in every category.
Yeah, the Bengals giving up 500 plus total yards the last 3 games. So it's not just last week. And my question, you fired the defensive coordinator. How the heck is Marvin Lewis still hanging on?
You about to go on a Stephen A. rant? How the heck is Marvin Lewis still around?
That man definitely got some pictures. But the Ravens, like you said, having won, they need to win desperately. And you have to make a desperate move. And the desperate move is play Lamar Jackson more. That's your element of surprise. I'm telling you, and I'm not just talking about when he comes out there, the defense already knows he's running the ball.
Right.
Let him come out there and throw the ball. That's going to be your element of surprise that teams do not want. Trust me. You have to play that kid some more. That's what's going to be the key to that game, if they do it, but I don't think they will. I'm going to go Cincinnati and get back on track.
Ooh.
I call this one the hot seat game.
The hot seat.
Marvin and even John Harbaugh, they're getting a little.
This is true.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, this is one of those the NFC North or AFC North, rock'em sock'em robots. Neither one of them wants to fall too far behind the Steelers. And
Right.
Baltimore at home only because they're at home. Got to stay with one of my cardinal rules, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati won. But I'm going with the Ravens.
Right.
Let's make sure we get through this one before we get to this rapid fire segment. Houston at Washington. Offense 7 to 9 weeks. They've scored 22 points or less on the Houston side. Washington, they're 6-0 when they run for 100 plus yards. So your thoughts on this, Earl?
Yeah, 2 6-3 teams, but are they really good 6-3 records? I
Right.
mean, as far as the teams, those teams you just don't know. It's like,
Can't trust it.
yeah, no, that's the perfect song for that day for this game. Can't trust it, but you know what? You start to get a little bit more trust in Watson. He's not turning the ball over. The last 3 games, the Texans have not turned the ball over, and that's probably been why they've been able to win and been on this streak they've been on, because they have not turned the ball over. So that's going to be key in the game. Watson is going to be key, getting out of the pocket, doing what he normally does, and just taking care of the ball. The old man Peterson has been good, averaging 93.3 yards per game. So he won't be able to keep that up in this game because Watt and Clowney, that defense will hold him under 93 yards for sure. So I'm going to take the Texans in that game.
Houston rolling 6-0 after that 0-3 start. A good win in Denver last week. As far as Washington, I don't trust them at all.
Can't trust it.
You have Atlanta come in, they beat you at home. You go down and beat a Tampa Bay team that basically was trying to get you the game. So, and this one right here, I'm going with riding the hot hand with Houston on the road.
Yeah, I got to go with Houston on the road as well, looking to win their 7th. I mean, that's a big thing in a row. With an offense that seems to be slowly getting better and better. If they score early, we've already talked about this all season, Washington just can't catch up when they're in a deficit.
It's true. That's true. That's how we do it. So this is the Neutral Zone on NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060 and 100.7 KSLX HD Channel 2. Why don't you go ahead to Facebook and like us at Neutral Zone Show, or you can follow Casual Sports on Twitter at KAZUALSPORTZ. Follow me on Twitter at Javon Love, or follow Ed Smith at Ed Smith Speaks. We're going to come back for that rapid fire segment. We still got some games to go through. You know how we do it. It's the Neutral Zone. You can. big payback. It is Neutral Zone. I am Jay along with Ed, Earl, and Sean. We do this every Thursday from 8 to 9 p.m. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell a friend we will not be here next week because we'll be overloading off of Turkey. But we want to say before we head out of here, before we get into our rapid fire segment, we want to say thank you to our producer on the other side of the glass, Aaron, and then also thank you to Majestic Services, Publico Italian Eatery, Maduro's Fine Cigars and Tobacco, Milano's Music, Piccoli's Natural Pet Food and Supplies, NPX, the Neighborhood Joint, Hans Shots and Colt Coffee Roaster, Howard Peretz, the Old School Sports Junkie, Intrust Realty, Knucklehead Tattoo Shop, and Debbie Bishop Homeowners Financial Group. So let's get into this rapid fire segment that is brought to you
Real
by
quick,
Yes, sir.
real quick. We got our boy Aaron on the other side of the glass, and he had a Pittsburgh Steelers jacket on.
Boo.
Yeah, that's you.
Yo,
repping?
Aaron, what's your thoughts on the Steelers and Le'Veon Bell, man?
Hey.
There you go. Spoken like a true fan.
Succinct, and the rapid fire segment is brought to you by Intrust Realty. And then go ahead and like us on Facebook at Neutral Zone Show. So let's get started with it. How about we start off with Philadelphia at New Orleans? Can Philadelphia salvage their season in New Orleans? Are they the best team in the NFL? Let's go with you, Sean. Go ahead.
This is a tough time for Philadelphia to try and regroup going into New
Bad
Orleans.
timing.
Their only chance to beat this team is to pass more successfully than Drew Brees. It's not going to happen. New Orleans is actually right now the #1 run defense in the league with 80 yards per game. This is going to be a track meet in New Orleans, and we all know who's going to win the home track meet.
It's going to be a track meet, but only one team's going to be running. It's going to be the Saints. That's going to be, I mean, I'm going to say an easy win, but how do you stop that team on that turf, in that building? I mean, how does Drew Brees, has he thrown a pick yet?
You turn the
I
lights
think
off,
one-
that's how
Oh,
you
yeah,
win.
okay.
One
all
yeah.
season.
Okay, one all season. So you turn
The lights off, that's how you beat them.
I'm going with the Saints in
Yeah,
that one.
yeah, I'm going with the Saints here as well. That's an easy call for me.
Right.
Tennessee at Indianapolis. Man, I was clowning Tennessee last week. I look like the fool because they beat the Patriots. But Tennessee, are they finally using Mariota effectively? And then Indianapolis, 3 wins in a row, but they beat the Bills and the Raiders. So what can you really take away from it, Ed?
Coin flip game of the week for me. I'm going to Indianapolis simply because they're at home. I'm still not fully bought into Tennessee. I know they're playing really, really well, but I still look at them as a mediocre team in my point of view. So I'm going with Indianapolis.
I got to go with Tennessee. #1 defense in points allowed was 16.8. Colts aren't the best at moving the ball. I see them kind of countering that and keeping the score low. Tennessee finds a way to make the score really low enough to kind of make it dirty, kind of get in there and grind out a win. So I got to say Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going with Indianapolis in this game simply because Luck has been sensational. Last 3 games, 131 passing rating, 3 touchdowns per game for 6 straight games. Boy's been balling. He's starting to look like the Luck we thought he should look like. So I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts. Also, 9-0 versus the Titans, Mr. Luck is. So
Ooh.
I'm saying 10-0 this week.
Good stat.
Tampa Bay at the Giants. Tampa Bay's lost 3 in a row for the last 5. The Giants only had 180 yards passing last week. So let's start with you, Earl. Who you got?
Oh, man.
Ha.
I'm going to go with the Giants. Is that what we're talking about?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
This is the garbage game of the week. Yeah, I'm going Tampa Bay just because I can't see the Giants winning anything.
What? After last week?
Fitzpatrick got us again last week, man. I'm telling you, he fooled us with that fool's goal. Giants, even though they beat San Francisco, I'm still going to go with them at home.
Yeah, that's it.
Denver at the Chargers. Are the Chargers hitting their stride? Conversely, with Denver, 6 of the last 9 weeks, they've held opponents to less than 100 yards rushing, which is kind of an interesting little tidbit. What you got, Sean?
Yeah, I got to say Chargers here. Denver's going to struggle to keep up with a hot Chargers team. They just seem to be clicking right now. Obviously, this could be a game that they give up, but I got to say Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers as well because, like I said last week, they are for real. And Melvin Gordon, again, is the man on that team. And he's going to eat Denver alive in that game.
I gotta say, I'm starting to believe in the Chargers.
Man, I'm
Normally,
telling you.
Normally, you wait for them to disappoint you. Or
Wait till the
lose
playoffs
They
and
will.
start going
Don't
down.
even trip, y'all. Don't even
Now,
trip, liar.
I'm starting to believe in them, and divisional game here. I think they take care of business at home and beat Denver.
All right, how about Carolina at Detroit? Detroit, I swear I think that coach is going to lose that team sooner rather than later. What Lion team will show up? When you're looking at Carolina, was Carolina just shell shocked last week? You saw that it was over before it started, really pretty much. 6-1 when they rush for 100+ yards. What you got, Earl?
Man, I see Carolina getting back on track in this game. Cam Newton is going to be the key in this game. How can Detroit keep him from being a dual threat? And that's kind of impossible with Cam. So I like McCaffrey in this game. Watch him. He's going to have a big game in this game because Detroit gives up a lot of yards with screens. And watch McCaffrey in this game. Watch.
I'm with you. Carolina bounces back here after that kind of hitting the stomach early last week against
Man.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They just got derailed. And for me, Detroit looks like they're not buying into Matt Patricia and this whole bring the Patriot way to Detroit. It's almost like they're having a little bit. They are so disengaged.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. And
They in the snow today, right? Practicing.
Being a former player, I'm looking at it. I'm like, you can tell dudes are out there just.
Yeah.
They're not buying in, and that's going to make for a very long season for them.
Real quick before I get to you, Sean, Patricia strikes me as the kind of guy that walks in and says, "I won Super Bowl, so listen to me," as opposed to proving it before you get respect.
Right.
So what you got, Sean?
Yeah, I think this team's already lost. I think they've already lost the coach.
Yeah.
You can't count on Detroit for anything this year, and I got to go with Cam cruising to a win. Oh, Cam.
Yeah, Patricia got the copycat sweater on too, trying to in the pencil in the ear. They're trying to look like.
At least he finally turned the hat from backwards.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you need to
Be yourself.
go to the ESL and then take it to the tilt it to the side. But Dallas at Atlanta, 4-0 when Dallas is 4-0 when they're rushing for 100+ yards. Will they use more play action rollouts, that type of stuff for their quarterback? Defensively, when you're looking at Atlanta, 6.3 drives, plays per drive, which is 29th in the league. What you got?
Atlanta might be the most disappointing team in the league for me this year.
Speak on
just
that.
because of how bad they can look, and then they'll fool you with a game of kind of a turnaround game.
Yeah.
I'm not buying them at all. And once again, this is one of those games. If I didn't have to pick it, I wouldn't. Because I don't buy into Dallas. I don't buy into Atlanta. But I got to pick somebody. So I'm going to Atlanta just because they're at home.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with that same mindset. I got to go Atlanta at home. This could be one of those NFC South track meets because they're at home, but this is just another one of those weird games that I just don't want to even know exists. Just being honest.
The Cowboys have not beat the Falcons in that dome since 2006. It's kind of funny how different teams can keep a historical record going.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
kind of weird how that happens, but 2006, I don't think they're going to beat them in that dome as well this year because the Falcons are fast on that dome. They throw the ball all over the yard, but they have a chance because Ezekiel Elliott's averaging 101.3 yards per game. So if you can run the ball, keep the ball out of Matt's hands, we'll have an ugly game and Dallas can pull it out. But I'm going in Atlanta.
Real quick before we head out of here, make sure that you, we're not going to be on next week because of Thanksgiving, so whatever you are thankful for, enjoy time with your family, watch a little bit of football because, of course, there will be games going on. I think there might even be an NBA game or two that's going on. I am thankful for my family, so go around. I want to say congrats to my oldest son. He got an acceptance letter from Baylor University.
All right.
Hey.
We'll see how that goes, but it's good to get those acceptance letters as opposed to those kick rocks letters. So real quick around the room, what you got going on next week?
Taking the Saturday off for the holiday as well. I want to say I'm thankful for my family. Also thankful for you brothers and us coming together, man. I really appreciate you guys.
I echo that. I am thankful for my family for sure, and you guys as well.
Thankful for my family, my 3 beautiful kids, maybe another one coming. Thankful for this opportunity to be on the air and talk about sports, man. Love it.
That's how we do it. I enjoy it. We laugh a lot, and when we're laughing, it's not manufactured. So again, shout out to Aaron on the other side of the glass. I know when I come in the building and saying this dude's going to ask me to pull all kinds of music and all kinds of stuff. So we appreciate you, dog. So again, tell a friend, tell a friend. We do this every Thursday from 8 to 9 p.m. It is the Neutral Zone with Ed, with Earl, with Sean, and with Jay. And like we always like to say around this time,
We
go.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
For 2 weeks. We go.
Good show, guys.
thank you, sir.
Thanks, Aaron.